Good evening, everybody. So this is week 2 of the Pantry challenge. So far, it is going great. We did have to go to the store and get bread. It was a last minute thing. I had already made lunch, thought we had bread, and thought I'd made enough last weekend, but I guess I didn't. So we did have to buy bread. I will be making extra this week, so to get us through. Sorry this video is coming out so late. It was a really pretty day, so I didn't want to miss out on some really good weather to do some stuff outside. So we actually just came inside. It's like 6 o'clock. So what I thought I'd do is I'd go ahead and make some ghee and show you how I do that, since we use ghee instead of butter. And then while I do, I'll just kind of go over how the pantry challenge is going for us. That way it's not like too long of a video. So I have a pot. We've got a whole bunch of unsalted butter that we had in the freezer, and I'm trying to kind of make some room in our freezer. Not only is it the 2022 Pantry challenge, that the Three Rivers Homestead puts on, but it is also what they call Canuary. Canuary. I can't even say that. So I figured, well, I'll just kill two birds with one stone here, and I'll do some ghee. Now, ghee isn't necessarily canned. It is shelf stable, but you don't process it in like a pressure canner or water bath. You cook out all of the water from it and all the fat solids. So you basically get clarified butter that becomes shelf stable for like a really, really long time. And that's all we use. So I thought I would go ahead and show you guys how to make this. I did have this on our last channel, but unfortunately when we switched channels, we couldn't transfer any of our videos over. So anything I did on there, I guess I'll basically just have to redo. And that's okay, no big deal. So week 1 of the Pantry challenge. Like I said, we did have to buy butter. I think it's going great. We're trying to work through the things that are in our freezer. The biggest challenge for us is, we've always had a lot of people, and now it's just 2 of us, and both of us have a really hard time, or have had a really hard time adjusting to just cooking for 2. So we are getting a lot of leftovers. So I kind of have a rule of thumb, whatever I make for dinner tonight, if it doesn't get eaten for lunch or snack or another dinner or whatever tomorrow, so tomorrow would be Sunday, then Monday it goes out to the chickens. So that way it doesn't go to waste, it doesn't sit in my fridge and just get all yucky and gross. So that's just kind of the rule of thumb around here. You got 1 day to get it, and then, or eat it up, and then if we don't, then it'll go to the chickens. Now sometimes I do make things in like a huge batch, and then we'll eat on it, like say tonight or whatever, and then tomorrow I would warm it back up to get it hot again, and just to bring the temperature back up, and actually would can it depending on what it is, and then we would have it for later. But I thought I'd go ahead and make some ghee today because we are down to 1 jar. So I'm also going to do a pantry tour, because one thing that we discovered doing this pantry challenge, so because of the way our house is designed, we kind of had our food in 4 different places. So in my craft room, we had a shelf that we had our jars, our canned food on. And then in the hallway where the laundry is, we had like our box foods and canned goods over there. And then we had some stuff in the garage. And then we also had some stuff in a shelf or a cubby here in the kitchen. So what we did is we spent the week literally cleaning and reorganizing the entire craft room. And it is now a pantry / craft room. I absolutely love it. So I am going to be doing a video on that and showing you guys our new pantry in there. So I'll do a video on that, but I think it's going a lot better now that we have everything in one general area, because I can actually see what we have. Like, even though I did inventory before the pantry challenge started, we just had things in so many areas, you couldn't really like see everything. So, but now it's like all there, like all of our dried goods and our canned goods and our store-bought stuff, and it's all in one area, which makes it really nice. So now we just go in there, and when we want to say, okay, what are we making for dinner? There it is. We can just see everything. It's awesome. I love it. So I'll definitely do a video on that. But, so anyway, on the ghee, what I'm doing is I'm just going to take these sticks of butter, and I'm going to get them all in this pot and get them melted down. I've got it on medium right now. Actually, I think I'm turning it to medium low, because you're not trying to like boil it. You're wanting to melt it. And I'll show you each stage of it. So eventually the water is going to evaporate. You're going to get like the frothy, foamy stuff on the top. And then at the bottom is where all the milk solids are going to like stay. And in the middle is where you'll get the ghee, which is also called liquid gold. So if you've never heard of ghee, maybe you've heard of liquid gold. But this stuff is just phenomenal, and I love the fact that we can just leave it out on the counter. We don't have to take up refrigerator space or anything like that. But we watch for sales on the unsalted butter sticks, usually around the holidays, and then buy a bunch so that we have them to make ghee. So I'm going to go ahead and get this done, and then as soon as I have all these in the pot, we'll be back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so this has been going for probably about, I don't know, about 15 minutes or so. Looks like you can see the bubbles. Let me actually just bring it closer real quick. So, see, it's got the white frothy stuff. Now, one thing you don't ever want to do is stir the bottom, because you want those milk solids to stay at the bottom. So, some people skim off these bubbles, and you don't necessarily have to, because you're going to strain it anyway. So we're going to let this go a little bit longer. See how that's still yellow? We're wanting it to turn like a clear gold color, but I will show you as it gets through each step on where we're at on those and go from there. But it's still got a little bit of time. This usually takes about 45 minutes, I think, to complete, and then I'll show you how I did in the jars and everything. But right now it's just going to keep going. You don't want it on like a hard boil. I have this on low right now. I'm actually going to turn it down just a little more. See, I think you can see the bubbles. Just, it's not like a hard boil, but I'm going to leave it and let it just kind of keep going for a little bit, and when I start seeing it change the color, I'll bring it back on and show you what it looks like then. Okay, it's starting to change color, so I wanted to show you what it looks like. I'm going to bring you over here. See how it's like a gold color? That's what you're looking for. We're going to let it go a little longer, because you want the milk solids that are at the bottom to actually like stick to the bottom. And it's like it's evaporating all the water, and that's where all this foam and stuff is coming from. But it's because it's separating and it's actually clarifying the butter. That's why they call it liquid gold. But I'm going to let this go a little bit longer. It gets like a nutty smell to it when it's just about done or right about done, because you don't want to burn it. So it gets like a nutty smell to it. So people wonder, like, what is the difference between, say, ghee and butter? So with ghee, like I said, you're taking out all of the water and you're separating, milk solids from it. So you're taking out basically the milk product from it. As weird as that sounds. So like people that have maybe sensitivities to dairy, ghee is actually a better option for them because you've taken out the milk solids. It's also rich in proteins and iron. It's high in omega fatty acids. It, when you compare it to butter, it has a higher smoke point, so it doesn't burn as easy as like butter does. And the reason that it's shelf stable is because, like I said, you're removing all the water, so the bacteria can't grow in it because you don't have the water in it. But it's also high in vitamin K2, so that helps bones absorb calcium. So, I mean, those are the positive sides of it, but it also just, it's like total deliciousness. It's like a very rich butter taste. But as you can see, I'm not like stirring it. I was just kind of like moving the froth away so I could kind of see the bottom of it to see if I could see the milk solids yet. It's not quite clear enough, so I'm going to let it keep going a little longer. I have this on a very, very low setting because I like it to just kind of take its time to do it. You're not trying to, like I said, put it to a rolling boil. So I'm just going to let this go a little bit longer, and we'll be back in a little bit to check on it. Okay, I think we're ready. It is actually pretty clear. I'm going to bring you over here again. Sorry for all the movement of the camera. See how gold it looks? That's what you're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and get this done. So first, what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and just lightly skim off the top. I've seen some people do it as they're going. I just wait till the very end just because it kind of changes. And you're just lightly skimming the top. You're not like scooping it. We've been making ghee for probably, I want to say about 5 years now. And since we started making it, we don't even use like regular butter at all. We don't. The only thing we buy butter for is we buy the sticks to make the ghee. That's it. I used to use, what was it called? Margarine or something. Until I learned what was in it. That totally grossed me out. So I don't even use that anymore. And if you don't get all of it, it's okay. You're going to strain it anyway, or filter it, or... See, now that I took all that off, I can see all the milk solids at the bottom. Let's see how gold and pretty it is. So, you're going to use... My drawers are warm. They've been washed with hot soapy water. They don't have to be like completely sanitized, but they do have to be washed in like hot soapy water. Boy, I just made that worse, didn't I? Let me try this. Okay, so I have a cheesecloth. It's 4 thick. And I'm just going to filter it in there. See how pretty that is? but we actually have quite a bit in our freezer that I would like to get out. So I'm going to probably make more than just this batch, but I just wanted to show you guys how I do it. Now remember, you're not going to water bath these or pressure can it. It is shelf stable because we have removed the water from the sticks of butter, so bacteria can't grow because there's no water. So, honey, you want to grab a jar of ghee off of the shelf so I can show them what it looks like after it's like solid again? Okay. So this is what it looks like right now. They call it liquid gold. And I'm using new lids. So Sutton's Days recommended this company. It's called, thank you. See, and that's what it'll look like afterwards. You can just leave it in your cabinet. You don't have to put it in the refrigerator. You can just leave it in the cabinet. Now, you don't want to leave it, obviously, like right next to your stove, because then you're going to have the moisture or the heat from the stove. You know, it'll build up condensation, then you get moisture back into it, and then you'll actually get mold. But anyway, so it's called, I set it over here, 4 Jars is the website. If I remember correctly, it's like 3 people that are doing it. But they just do the lids and the rings, and you can get wide mouth or regular. The prices I was very impressed with. They weren't bad at all. And they even have it on the side. Prepare your lids. Lids are for one-time use only. Wash lids in hot soapy water. Rinse well. Set aside until ready to use. So these were washed with hot soapy water. I did dry them because I wanted to make sure that there was no water on there at all. But you're going to put your bands on. Ouch, that's hot. And you're just going to let it sit until it cools completely. Now, some of the jars will seal just because of the heat, but it's not like a pressurized or canned seal. And then I'll just go put it in our pantry on the shelves. So that's all there is to it. I'm going to go ahead and get these canned up or put into jars. And once I'm done with that, I will come back and show you what the bottom of this pan looks like from all of the milk solids that have separated. It's actually kind of gross when you see what's in stick butter. But you're removing all of the impurities. So ghee, I believe it originated, don't quote me on this, I think South Africa? South America? I don't remember. Anyway, in English it means clarified butter. And it's Ghee if you wanted to do some research on it. Super easy to make. Tastes great. It's a lot better for you. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this, get all this in the jars, and I will be back when I have it all done so that I can show you the bottom of the pan. Okay, so I'm all done putting the jars together, so now I want to show you what the bottom of it looks like. It's pretty raunchy. That is the milk solids that you basically cook out of it. Let me get out of the light here so you can see. That is all the foam from the top. And then in the cheesecloth, this one's still kind of draining a little bit, but see all of that? So the cheesecloth catches all the extra. So that you do not want. We don't ever scrape the bottom of the pan because we don't want any of that in there. So this is what your product will look like once you bring it out and put it in the jars, and then as it cools, it will actually look like that. So you can keep it out on a shelf. Don't keep it right next to your stove because you don't want the condensation in there. But that's what you will get, and that is called ghee. Okay, everybody, so that's what I have for you today. We are on the second week of the Pantry Challenge. I do believe that it is going great. I would like to find some time to at least show you guys what we've been cooking for dinner. Unfortunately, it is very hard to record during the week just because of our schedules, so I really only have weekends. So maybe if we can get a bunch of stuff done tomorrow, we can actually show you what we make for dinner tomorrow night and go over a recipe or something with you. No promises, but we'll definitely try. And I am tired. It has been a very long day, so I will do the pantry tour tomorrow morning before I go out for my chores. I think tomorrow's supposed to be nice, and we do want to take advantage of any wonderful weather that we may be having. So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my videos. If you push the bell, it'll tell you whenever I've posted a new video. And once again, remember, every day is a new beginning. Stay blessed.